Hi, everybody. We are talking more about the podcast that Christine did with Heather McDonald on a podcast called Juicy Scoop. I'll have the link down below if you want to watch the whole thing. But on these videos, I am taking out the sections that I find the most interesting and talking about them. So let's discuss. Heather wants to know a little bit more about the concept of, she said that it seems like being in polygamy is asking somebody to give the ultimate sacrifice, a sacrifice of themselves. You must be a completely selfless person because you have to be willing that your husband is going to spend time with another woman and sleep with her. You have to be pretty selfless to allow that. The men, completely selfish, just the opposite.
In my opinion.
And Heather points out, I believe it was Heather who pointed it out, maybe it was Christine who brought it up, but they were talking about the divorce. And how that was the ultimate act of selflessness for the greater good and for the family.
Is I feel like you were in believing in the fundamentals of polygamy as a woman, it's like the ultimate lesson in selflessness.
Yes.
You are to be selfless.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't be jealous. You shouldn't be jealous. You shouldn't think about yourself. It's ultimate selflessness. And so I feel like that moment when he marries Robyn and they decide with Mary, you need to give up your legal marriage so that he can legally marry Robyn because she has kids he needs to adopt. And your child is whatever, almost over 18, and it won't affect that person, her child, it won't affect your child. So I felt like when she did that as a sister wife, she was, whether she meant to or not as a viewer, that was the ultimate martyr move.
Christine's first response I thought was the most telling, because I have said ever since it happened, when we first watched it, how many years ago, and you're sitting there and you're watching Mary crying and breaking down, I'm like, this is not her idea.
I'm gonna need a notary.
I'll be right there.
Thank you.
As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good Lord, show me the way.
My heart's pounding a little bit. I'm a little bit nervous because it's like it's hitting me that we're actually doing this right here, right now. There's a full thing there too.
I've never signed that whole name before, I don't think. I'm not angry.
Not the judge will sign off on Kody. Yeah, but I don't.
Good Lord, show me the way.
She said in one of the Talking Head interviews that it was her idea about the divorce. Not her idea. Kody and Robyn were not shocked at all because he knew what was coming when she's like, I've got something to talk to you about. He's like, don't smile, don't smile. Act like you don't know what's going on. And then his response was something benign. Maybe I'll even try to find it and put it in here. But something like, oh, really? That's not what you say if somebody does this major sacrifice. I mean, come on. And Robyn, too, did not look a bit surprised by it. She's like, oh. Fake tears, fake crying. That's so nice of you.
What's up, this business or what?
I just had an appointment with the lawyer. I was talking to him about getting a legal divorce. Yeah. So that you guys can get married and then try to adopt the kids.
Oh, I got it.
Are you sure?
It's just something I've been thinking about for a long, long time.
I was shocked. Me not being legally married to Kody is a huge wall in the adoption process. So when Meri is offering this up, it's like, well, this is the answer.
Right away from the first time I saw it, I knew a whole discussion had been had. I don't know whose initial idea it was, but clearly they had a whole discussion. This was not the first time they're hearing it. This is just bad acting happening right now. But it was real on Meri's part, who still had a hard time coming out and saying it.
The first thing is, Meri, you and I are going to stay married after this divorce. We just continue on like our lives have never changed. I mean, are you promising nothing's going to change for us?
What do you mean?
I'm asking you, nothing's going to change for you and I, right?
This is really a weird question from you.
It's a fair question, though.
I find it funny that you're asking me this.
What does this mean? We're not breaking up, right? I have to ask her.
It's a bit scary. It's like, okay, nothing.
I
that's the
promise
reason I'm
you,
asking
you're
you.
right. It is a bit scary. I promise you. Kody, I've always known that your desire was to adopt Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna. And I've also known or highly suspected that there's only one way to do that.
I wish that I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to be this way. It's just very, very, very sweet, very giving.
All I can say is thanks.
What a bloody joke.
I do not believe this was ever Meri's idea. It probably never even crossed her mind. But I believe that Kody was planting seeds all the time. Gosh, if there's only way we could adopt those poor kids. Have to be under David's care, and he can't really afford medical insurance. And what if something happens to them? And now we have another, we're having more kids. And I just feel so bad for them. And gosh, I wish there was some way. I mean, it's unfortunate that our legal system is set up that only the person who's legally married can get it. Because, to us, legal marriages mean nothing. I love all my wives the same. The legal marriage, that's just a piece of paper that you push around. It means nothing. It's a shame that piece of paper couldn't have Robyn's name on it. Yeah. These are the conversations and how it went down. So if Meri was the first one to actually come out and say, well, one possibility is I could divorce you, then I guess we could say it was her idea, right? It wasn't her idea. Mm-mm. He manipulates that, man. Yes, he does.
Controlling, manipulative.
So the first line that Christine says is, Meri claims it was her idea for the divorce. Guess who else doesn't believe it was Meri's idea? She didn't just say this was Meri's idea. Whereas Meri says it was her idea, and Robyn and Kody claim it was Meri's idea. So why not just say it was Meri's idea? Everyone's saying it was Meri's idea. Christine's on to them. Just like we're all on to them. There's no way this was Meri's idea. It could not have been Meri's idea, and she was as tormented as she was when she was going through it. No way.
So first, let me just clarify too. Yeah. I don't know what conversations Meri and Kody and Robyn had about divorcing and all of that. Meri says it was her idea.
So I love that. Meri claims it was her idea for the divorce. And then she goes on to say, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what conversations Mary and and Robyn had about divorcing and all of that. Mary says it was her idea to do the divorcing. I don't know.
Doubling down on the idea that she does not believe it was Mary's idea. Mary claims it was her idea for the divorce. I don't know. Oh, Christine, saying things without saying them. Christine goes on to say that she was, however, blown away by this sweet sacrifice that was involved in doing this action. And it's true. Mary did a major sacrifice in this family.
Agree.
Christine did a major sacrifice in terms of raising all the kids. Robyn's sacrifice, not sure.
There was none.
I agree with you. Even as that it wasn't my choice to do, I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. I was blown away. I was blown away that she would divorce Kody legally in order for him to marry Robyn. I thought it was the absolute ultimate selfless move. I thought it was so beyond sweet of her and amazing of her. And I just thought it was amazing. So then I thought it was just super, super cool.
Essentially, she sacrificed by just staying in a loveless, not even loveless. She sacrificed by technically calling herself married to a man who she didn't even really see for years. I mean, that was a sacrifice. Nobody asked her to do the sacrifice. She chose it. In fact, Kody didn't even want it. He's trying to kick her out the door. But she sacrificed for the sake of her personal beliefs and the ramifications of her choosing to leave and what that means in the afterlife. Okay, that's it for this topic. I have something related to it, but I'll go ahead and make another video for that one and put it out in the near future. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.
That's my story. Short and sweet.